And as I said to her, well, we'll have to start that over again, won't we?
Some people are never satisfied. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Um, the British MP's betting scandal.
Mm.
It took a new twist, a new turn
Mm.
recently when a Labour candidate, Kevin Craig,
Mm.
he took it upon himself to bet against his own success in the upcoming British general election next week. Uh, when I say betting against his own success, he betted that he was going to lose the election, right? His
No, yeah.
election.
Yes.
Just to give a bit of a backstory, previously three Conservatives up for
Mm.
re-election had bet on the date of the night of the Oscars for ugly actors, as I like to call it,
Yes.
uh, along with one of the hopeful's husband after receiving insider information before
Mm.
Sunak officially made his announcement of the
What?
date of the election. They knew about it one day before he went out on the
Mm.
rainy streets of 10 Downing Street.
Yes.
They knew about it one day before, and they ran round to William Hill's and made a bet that it was going to be tomorrow. You know that the election will be on the 7th, I think it is.
Yeah.
So anyway, this MP he bet on himself to lose,
Mm.
but he would win if he lost, if you know what I mean. And I
Yes.
thought to myself, well, why would somebody do that? And then,
Mm.
of course, it dawned on me that if he lost his election, at
Mm.
least he'd win back his deposit
Mm.
and his expenses for his campaign
Mm.
because of the bet. If he won, on the other hand, it didn't matter if he won the bet or not because he would be getting the rather healthy salary
Yeah.
that an MP would get, and he could absorb all that expense,
Yeah.
all that
Was-
pre-election expense.
Mm.
It's a pity that MPs can't use that same um, cunning
Yeah.
on projects to help the country out instead of just trying to help out their own pockets.
Yeah.
But to not, as we're a non-biased um,
Well, yeah.
platform here,
Podcaster. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, after naming, I named the Labour MP as Kevin Craig, and I
Mm.
must name the Conservative gamblers as well
Mm.
because I mentioned them, but I didn't mention them by name, and it wouldn't be
Yeah.
fair on poor Kevin if I
Mm.
only mentioned him and didn't mention Nick Mason,
Mm.
Laura Sanders, and Craig Williams, who are
No.
three Conservative. So if you're a podcaster listener
Mm.
and your local MP or your local candidate is called any of these names, you know who not to vote for.
Wow.
Um, Laura Sanders' husband is also the Conservative Director of Campaigning. He's called Tony Lee,
Mm.
and he's also been investigated into having one of these bets,
Mm.
and he's taken a leave of absence from work.
Yeah.
So he's trying to keep his head down, I suppose.
Mm.
And of course, we don't only have the candidates or the MPs, we've got all their families.
Yeah.
You
Mm.
know, they would have found up for all their families. And there was a graph that I saw in the newspaper the other day
Mm.
about this sort of bet. And surely enough, on the day before that Rishi Sunak announced the date,
Mm.
the bar graph was way up, was way up. You know, it's like ones, twos, 20.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yes.
on the day before the Rishi Sunak. So I'm sure that nobody's smelt a rat there. You know, I think that's what drew attention to the whole scandal in the first place.
Yeah. Betting trends. Yeah.
But believe it or not, this is not why I'm here in this
Yeah.
podcast.
No.
Uh, it, it's to give a little bit of update
Mm.
on what we mentioned 2 weeks ago
Mm,
when we were talking about the EU and the election
mm,
results of the EU. I suggested two weeks ago that Ursula von Leyen, she was a
mm,
happy chappy
mm,
after the election results, and that she wanted to be president of the EU for a
mm,
second term.
mm,
Well, lo and behold, uh, Ursula von der Leyen will be elected for a second term
mm.
of the EU. Um, in good democratic style, right?
Still talk about the EU. We're talking about democracy. Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, it is a democracy. In good democratic style, the election will be held on Thursday night,
Right.
Next Thursday.
Right. Okay.
Right, so it's a week today,
Yeah.
just to confirm. But all the group leaders have already decided that that's what's going to happen. So it's
Oh,
a little
okay.
bit like the Kremlin. It's a little bit like the Kremlin waiting for the election results to say who won.
Yeah.
And of
Yeah.
course,
Yeah.
it's always the president, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want
So,
confusion, do you? Yeah. Yeah.
so you know, as I said, you know, because the two main groups of the
Yeah.
EU still came in first and second by a
Yeah.
grand majority. Nothing's going to change. It's all going to
No.
be, you know, and people will be squabbling further down the chain,
Yeah. Of course.
as
Yeah.
as did Italy's Giorgia Milone.
Mm.
Nice lady, nice lady.
Yeah.
She said it's surreal how voters' opinions are being ignored.
Mm.
Really? Really? She should grow up a little bit, I think, that lady.
Well. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And she
it's
based
yeah. Yeah.
she basically echoed. She was echoed by Orban of Hungary,
Well. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
right?
But he's
Um, but as we said in that same podcast, you know, it's not enough change. Not there wasn't enough change in the elections for
mm.
anything different to happen. You know, it's just the same old, same old.
Well, of
In the
course.
case of Giorgia Meloni, the
Mm.
lady,
Mm.
she was during the EU elections, she was hoping to be included in the high
Mm.
echelons
Oh yeah. Yeah.
of the directorate of the
Mm.
EU, but they
Yeah.
shunned her. They shunned her. They did the dirty.
Yeah.
They shat on her from a great height, and
Well.
that's why she said, "I can't believe you've gone against all the look." She's a politician.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, ultimately, they all know the game. They all know the game.
Yeah,
But
they know the game, and we know who they're not bothered about. And the last thing they're bothered about is the electorate. You know,
well.
they're on about
Yeah.
themselves. Think about themselves first. And if they don't get what they want, then they'll use the electorate as an arm
Yeah.
to
Well,
try and. But anyway, that
yeah.
basically is what I wanted to. It was just a little bit of
Yeah.
updating, just to show that our fingers are on the pulse,
Well. Yeah.
and you know that's we normally
No.
know what's going to happen
Yeah. Yeah.
a
I
few
mean,
weeks before it does.
well, a week before now. Yeah. Next Thursday is our.
I was looking at an older
Yeah.
podcast that we did
Yeah.
about Your Country Needs You,
Yeah.
about the English troops. It's about a few months ago now, I think,
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
4 months ago,
Yeah.
4 months ago.
Yeah.
And we suggested that there's going to be conscription in the UK,
Mm.
or a general did, General
Yeah.
Sanders.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
suggested he suggested that you know there might be conscription in the UK, and at the time Rishi Sunak said that's a ridiculous thing to say. Of course we are. Well,
Yeah.
it was only like 2 weeks ago. He said, you know, let's conscript everybody and give them a year's army
Well.
training. Give them up
Well.
to top. You know, it's a
Well.
slogan. It's a
Yeah.
it's a it's a funny world where we live.
Well, yeah, he's yeah. I mean, okay, I'll address these things individually. Okay, the betting scandal is a bit of amusement. There's bigger things going around. I've only just found out that people actually bet on things they already know about. Wow, man, I've never thought of that before in any walk of life.
Yeah, but that's insider trading.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
insider trading.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
big taboo. Taboo.
Yeah, yeah. Should politicians be allowed to to bet on political issues? I don't know what to make of that. It's a free country. I, in the scheme of things, I'm going to be honest. I don't really care to. I don't think it's right. I think it's even if it's not illegal, it's ethically wrong. There's a difference between. I'm British. I tend to know there's a difference between what's legal and what's ethical. We seem to the British seem to forget about it more than the Americans do. Yeah, it's not ethically right, but it's okay because it's legal. We are we are living in these strange times at the moment, and it's online betting. Everything's trackable and online. That's what happens. They go online now, so it's not like they're running down to the local bookie shop, or they used to get the little guy on the corner. He used to do it. Yeah. With his enforcers as well.
They set off alarms.
Of course, yeah.
When automatically they
absolutely. Yeah, I mean unusual. I mean you might get an unusual in football. One unusual thing: the lights are going to fail at 7 minutes into the game. Bang! Yeah. It happens. So, but they'll see the trends before now, and they'll notify the authorities. Not always specific. They can't give you personal details, but yeah, they will notify about strange trends because the bookies don't like to take a hammering any more than anyone else does. It's how can I put it? Yeah. Now, as regards to other things. I mean, Rishi Sunak is going to say anything at the moment to appear on the front page of the Daily Mail at least, if nothing else. Get 3 million people looking at him. Keir Starmer just says things. I'm never quite sure what he says because I don't stay long.
I'll be on about them in the next podcast.
Yeah.
Don't for fun.
Yeah.
Don't either.
Yeah. Now, as regards to the EU, yes, we predicted all this. You could see it all happening. You couldn't put it in a political drama novel because nobody would believe it. It just seems so incredible. Sometimes you get these novels about political intrigue and everything. Actually, it's too boring to actually go in a novel because it is too predictable. There are no twists and turns. It's there. It's the elitists looking after themselves. With regards to Milone, I must admit, I did notice her one day online, just flicking through YouTube and saw a person, and I actually thought she was a retired sports person. She had that look about a sports person, and I thought, oh wow, and because I like sports, I decided, oh, she's only a politician. What interest is that to me? Yeah. Actually, no, she's right. I mean, do politicians stamp their feet when they can't get what they want? Well, of course they do. They're all playing in a game. They're not all enemies either. They're probably going to have lunch together and laugh about what's gone on before. Which, in all honesty, I'm glad happens as well because I don't want them all being at each other's throats and.
They are adversaries. They are not enemies.
That's it.
They like to say.
Yeah. I mean, as I've mentioned before, H.G. Wells said about politicians when he was one. He said we're all actors, really. We play a part. We'll shout at each other across the floor, and then we're going to have a meal together or a glass of wine. Talk about something else that's interesting. Sometimes it's football, sometimes it's whatever else is about. But I think the world is in a very it's chugging along. the problem is stock markets like stability as well, whether we like it or not. The EU is very much tied in with the stock markets, I'd imagine, to keep things somewhat stable. If like something unexpected happens anywhere politically, you see the shares go up and down, even one way or another. Yes, as somebody says, markets don't care if they know. They don't have a moral compass. If they know it's stable. For example, we all know. Well, we're not going to go into too much detail, but yeah, we all know of events that have shocked things. Brexit was a shock. The election all but one before the 2016 election in the US, to all intents and purposes, was a shock, a surprise. Sent shares or things trembling all across the world. Before a good deal of growth, before a certain pandemic happened. Yeah, which now seems like ancient history. We do another one yet? I don't know. You know, I don't know when I'm meant to put up my pandemic decorations again. Is it a 4-year cycle, 8-year cycle? Can you help me here? Yeah.
Avian flu too.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Well, I would have thought they'd at least started at the beginning of the encyclopedia and worked through A to Z. You know, I don't know where I am with it all.
That's why it's Avian Flu 2.
Oh, so we got the sequel.
Mark 2. Yeah.
Yeah, we got the sequel coming.
A bit like a Rocky film.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The sequel. Yeah, I didn't like the first one really. So, I don't think I really want the second one. Do we need it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No surprises. So what you're really telling me, politicians are self-interested. They'll do things for their own benefit, and they like to pre-plan everything and then give us the illusion that we actually have our interests in heart. Yeah.
Yeah, I know that with you, I'm preaching to the choir. For anybody who watches this, I'm sure that they're still down the pub arguing who to vote for, and being really passionate about which one of them is doing the best job. And really, if only they knew. Well, wake up, people.